Tiahuanaco is the name of an ancient civilization that flourished in Bolivia on the shores of Lake Titicaca, a lake so immense that it looks more like the sea. There are numerous ruins on the Island of the Sun and the Island of the Moon, where even today people invoke ancient gods, above all the Earth Mother, Pachamama, and the great creator, Viracocha. Tijay means sit down, and Huanaco means guanaco, a close relative of the South American llama. So although Tiahuanaco means sit down guanaco, this is considered a holy place, and I'm trying not to sit on any sacred rocks. Like any other culture, Tiahuanaco had its rise and fall. Legend has it that the god Viracocha was angered by the violence of its people and sent them the gift of a flood that caused Lake Titicaca to overflow and do away with the civilization. Many of the stones here sit facing the mountains where the gods lived so comfortably. One has to wonder how those massive blocks of stone were moved. Were these people giants or extraterrestrials? Even today, many shamans perform their rituals among these stones. It's a deeply rooted custom to appeal to Father Sun and Mother Earth before any important undertaking. All the temples in the capital of Tiahuanaco are astronomically oriented with a remarkable degree of precision. Finally, I'm at the site of the famous monoliths, the Ponce monolith and the bearded or Contiki Viracocha monolith. And the Gateway of the Sun, a stone gate weighing 10 tons. These ruins represent the golden age of Tiahuanaco. All over the grounds, there are carved stone heads with features representing different ethnicities. I catch my plane thinking, may Viracocha protect us. This sheep looks like it's dead, and this fox is hungry. Someone's planning to make a meal of it. I'm in Spain's Monfragüe National Park. With a black vulture in the sky and a griffon vulture on the ground, the expectation is intense. The fox makes himself scarce. Which is what the great carrion eater and the small Egyptian vulture were waiting for. Soon, more relatives join the feast. The black vulture opens a long slit along the sheep's abdomen with its powerful beak, allowing the griffon vultures to sink their long necks into the cavity and reach for the internal organs. And the guests keep arriving. There's plenty enough to go round. Enough for 6 or 16. Wait a minute, there's a fight, but that's to be expected. If you mess with me again, I'll... The ruckus is too much for some to take. The black vulture is the largest scavenger on the peninsula and not as fond of company as the griffon vulture. He doesn't enjoy having to fight for his food. They've had enough. Or they've eaten enough, and they hop away. Only the Egyptian vulture keeps waiting, perhaps thinking, but what did they get that I didn't get? There's not much left. It's all gone. The cleaning service has done its job to perfection, and they take flight in ones and twos. It's hard to get moving again after a hearty meal. They're a little clumsy on the ground, but once in the air, they're magnificent. Borneo is the third largest island on Earth and home to a true jungle. It's so humid that my shirt sticks to my skin. I feel so dehydrated, though, but I could be in a desert, so I head for the shade. At least there's plenty of oxygen here. 90% of the Earth's oxygen is produced in rainforests, and they're also home to the most sophisticated plants, such as the pitcher plants or nepenthes. Since these carnivorous plants are rooted in the ground, they have to hunt without moving from where they sit. Shapely, sweetly aromatic, and very attractive. Their inviting ponds of fragrant liquid are in fact slippery, lethal traps, but not for everyone. Mosquito larvae develop much to their liking in this deadly broth. Their strategy is to invite passers-by in for a delicious drink. All comers are welcome. Well, not anyone. Some plants eat only the finest cuts of beef, preferably male. This stag beetle has detected a sweet aroma. The slippery trap doesn't work with this insect, who can hold on tightly with his own built-in crampons. He's saved his skin for the moment, but the plant is about to implement Plan B. Activating its glands, it produces an even stronger aroma that completely intoxicates its prey. Determined now to taste the nectar whatever the cost, he throws all care to the wind. Be careful, careful! But what a sweet death. In addition to sugars and nutrients, the plant's pool of liquid contains its digestive juices. It's too hot and humid in this jungle full of pitcher plants. I don't get too close to them, just in case, you know. And I'm ready to buzz off. From Borneo to Africa? It could be, but it's not. I'm in northeastern India, in the Gir Wildlife Sanctuary, where lions live in harmony with our own species. Here man coexists peacefully with the great cats. Of course, something must be given in exchange for the continued equilibrium of the park. The Asiatic lion is different from the African lion. The Asiatic species is somewhat smaller and its mane is less impressive. In addition, its behavior toward humans is different. There are other differences besides their manes. Among the African lions, only females hunt, while male Asiatic lions must feed themselves. And what do they hunt? Mostly buffalo. The Maldaris bear no arms. At the most, they may carry a staff to pass peacefully among the lions with their livestock. Female lions don't usually attack domestic livestock. They hunt wild boars, cheetah deer, and antelopes. Very rarely do they attack buffalo. The number of buffalo killed by males varies, depending on the population of wild herbivores. Killing a buffalo means more meat for the same amount of effort. People accept this, knowing that the lions have to eat if there is going to be peace. Men and lions may not be the best of friends in this unique place, but at least they're not enemies. I'm on my way. And this time, yes, I'm off to the African continent. Benin is between Nigeria and Togo. The Betamaribe are one of the most primitive peoples in West Africa, and they live in the northwestern part of the country. Also known as the Somba, which means nude, they live in two-story mud houses called tatas. When they want to build a tata, they prepare a large quantity of mud and place a branch on top of it. If the branch has not flown away by the next day, that means that the spirits approve. Not anybody can build a tata, though, only certain specialists. The caste of Tata builders is very prestigious, as are the castes of hunters and ironsmiths. The mud used to make tatas is a mixture of different clays. This mixture contains no straw or other vegetable matter, and when it hardens, it's like a rock. It's cool and inviting inside the tata. The small conical roofs are made of straw. Animal bones and ritual objects hang outside. The flat part of the roof is made of crisscrossed saplings plastered with mud. The ground floor has several teakwood columns, a round table in the middle, and a cooking area. Space in the tatas is utilized very well. Carving tools, cooking pots, and kitchen utensils are stored away in their own niches. And the dead are represented in a prominent corner. Animals live on the ground floor near the kitchen. This makes sense, so they can't get up onto the flat roof. They're cared for by the women. The flat roof can be resurfaced when necessary. There's a marker up here that indicates the current stage of the agricultural cycle and when the harvest will come. Fonio is a cereal grain similar to rice that is the real wealth of the Betamaribe. As they say, a man without fonio is to be pitied. Now from the welcoming tatas to some more worrisome dragons. The first explorers came to the Indonesian archipelago in search of mysterious jungles populated by dragons and one-horned animals. Natives on the island of Java told them of fearsome animals that hid deep in the jungle and ate anything that moved. This macaque opens his eyes wide. He seems to be aware that he's being watched. As indeed he is, by this giant monitor lizard known as the Komodo dragon. The dragon does seem perilous, so I'm going to keep my distance too. This banteng feels the same way and takes off with a start. I'm not surprised. The Komodo dragon is the world's largest lizard. They grow up to 10 feet long and weigh around 175 pounds. The dragon is a voracious animal with an excellent sense of smell. It uses its tongue to pull in the particles in the air that make up scents. Dragons adore eating young animals, including even the young of their own species. That's why many young dragons climb up into the trees for safety. The people of these villages leave out their dead animals to feed the dragons. To some extent, this helps them avoid even worse problems. Throughout history, adults and children who wandered too far have disappeared and never been heard from again. After hearing some of these stories, I try not to stray too far from my cabin. At one time, the dragons hunted, but now they mostly eat domestic animals. This dragon has smelled something. It's a dead goat. The lizard hurries over to eat it. They can eat great quantities at one sitting, and once they do so, they may wait a long time before eating again, luckily for us. More than one of the Komodos has smelled the goat. No problem, there's goat enough to go around. Their jaws are strong enough to sever tendons and bones. But they miss out on this wild pig. It's fast enough to get away from them. The dragons are a protected species now, and they survive on a few islands such as Rinca and Komodo. Now to the land of a different kind of lizard. This part of the Western Sahara is called Saharawi. Here, the lizards are magical and children play with them. While the lizards may be different, a wedding is a wedding wherever it may be. And this is Sukyena's wedding. The groom's parents and relatives are arriving at the tent encampment where the bride's parents live. One of their entertainments is to try to steal each other's kerchiefs. It's a primitive game of Berber origins that involves some amount of pushing and shoving. Those who finally end up with the kerchief run away, lifting it high into the wind. The bride's family welcomes the relatives of the groom. They bring rugs and tablecloths for the haima, or tent, of Shelek, Sukyena's future husband. It is customary for the groom to have his own haima. Inside, they will chat about their journey, and of course, about the dowry. A justice of the peace will recognize the dowry arrangements and read the matrimonial precepts from the Quran. Although they are now man and wife, their marriage is not complete until they are under the same roof in the same khaima. No wedding bells for them. One of the witnesses will go outside to shoot once into the air and startle me out of my wits. Now that they're married, the Saharawi women will ululate to spread the news. These calls are a way of expressing joy. Shelech's friends offer to go fetch his bride. In the meantime, the women put on Sukiena's makeup amid nervous laughter. They apply henna and cover her with a sheet, pretending to hide her from the man who is already her husband. Any respectable wedding has to include large trays of camel meat with rice. Inside the khaima, the party begins. The Saharawi love to read love poetry aloud. Then they dance uninhibitedly for hours. The bride will dance with abandon to the rhythm of drums and the women's ululations. The black kerchief on her head is proof that she's no longer single.